As you can see, the worst of the rain is passed by, and there's actually, the sky's looking a little more benign than it was. Typical of this particular trip, I just happened to be at the wrong place at the wrong time, trapped at a bus shelter when the full savagery of the downpour took place, and it really pissed down. The thing that got me about this particular rainstorm is that it was just misting, and then about 20 seconds later it was just torrential downpour. There was no sort of build up, it just went bang and enveloped the street and area, and I just couldn't leave that shelter. And it wasn't great protection, but it still got pretty wet, but I survived, thank God. It did stop, and actually you can see some blue sky now, which seems like a miracle right now, because it was just blanketing the city. But I guess that's Singapore for you. They probably just get these incredible changes in the meteorology. It just goes from sunny to when it's clear skies this morning. It looked fantastic. I wish I'd taken a shot of it. And it just progressively got cloudy, and that might be just normal for here. I'm not sure. I haven't spent enough time in Singapore to know. I had a chat to an Indian girl who was waiting at the bus stop, and she didn't really elaborate a great deal, but she seemed nice enough. And it was sort of amusing for the reception staff here when I finally got through the rain to get inside. Gee, it was such a relief. I also checked out a little shopping centre down on the basement of the shopping mall next door, and just to buy some biscuits, and I couldn't believe how expensive they are over here. I'd say 2 to 3 times the same price as in Australia for dry biscuits. Quite extraordinary. The cost, well, maybe that's an expensive shop, I don't know, but I suspect that they are a fair bit more, and it is the cost of living here. So it's just compared to, say, the rest of Asia, and compared to, well, at least with the Southeast Asia that I've been to, like Vietnam and Thailand, this is very expensive, and even more expensive than Australia, because I think they have to import a fair few of their goods from Australia. There's quite a few familiar brands on the shelves, so I think there's quite a bit of trade there. But this is a rich country. They have a higher per capita than we do in Australia, so they can afford to. But anyway, it's good to finally see the rain go, and hopefully I'll get down. I want to get down to that area downstairs with the pool is, just have a close look there. I'm not even sure how to actually access it, to be honest with you. I'm sure it's part of this particular hotel. I think it is. Well, maybe it's not. Maybe it's part of another hotel. It could well be. It's certainly not getting used right now, which makes perfect sense. So, I didn't see any entranceway to it, so it may well be a different hotel. Anyway, at least things are drying out. My hat is totally soaked, but I've got a few hours before I have to travel, so hopefully enough time to dry out before and pack things up again, and I won't have to pack them too wet. And then I'll get back to Melbourne tonight, fingers crossed. Yeah, I seriously cannot wait until this trip is over, to be honest with you. It seems always hassles everywhere I go. The taxi ride from the hotel to the airport was good. There was no problems there. I actually got a lift with a fellow traveller also in bumped named Nam. He's actually Vietnamese Australian. He left Vietnam when he was 10, and he's pretty well Aussie now. He was a nice guy, and what we did was we both got 30 Singapore dollars each for a cab fare, and we thought, well, bugger, we might as well get the same cab and we'll take the profit. So we I think the cab fare was only 25, and so I put in 15 and he put in 10, I guess. So that's okay, it didn't worry me. But certainly I got half fare, so I was happy. So that was good. We located where we got to check in. Luckily, we didn't have to go through the machines that Jetstar have, which I loathe. So we just go straight to the counter, and there was no waiting. I mean, this is the weird thing. There's no consistency in Saigon. The line was just ridiculously long, and it took forever to check in. Here, I just basically walked. There was one person ahead of me, and that was it. It was straight through. So work that out. I'm not complaining, but why was it so bad in Saigon? And it hasn't been in the past. It's just it's luck of the draw, I think. But what really crapped me off is that just going through immigration was a hassle. So because I was a transit passenger, I didn't have to do this before in Shaggy, but this time I had to go in through immigration. And they've got this thumbprint recognition system. And I put my thumbs on it. It said it was okay and it didn't open the second gate. This happened twice, so talk about frustrating. I put my passport through first off to be scanned. That all went through, opened the first gate, get to the second gate, put my thumb on the screen, and it won't recognise it twice. So then I had to go to another counter, and then I had to go through a protracted process of putting two thumbs on. This must have done this about 4 times till it actually worked. And he said, you just have to keep pressing hard. I mean, it's putting a lot of pressure on. I mean, how were you supposed to bleed? It's ridiculous. But, just another hassle with this trip. It's just been absolutely cursed. So I just hope to cross and get off the ground tonight and actually get to Melbourne. Because I just don't feel like going overseas again. It's not worth the hassle. It's really crapped off.